Yeah. Our back-breaking icon.
Matud nila sa mga nakasabot nun sa pasabot ni Justin atong back-breaking. Pasabta ko na sila Justin. Anong back-breaking man?
Because she's known for this technique when she performs in which she bends backwards, especially when hitting a high note. So it's not only very visually appealing, I think it's also a way of her to like, I don't know, not only captivate audience but more express yung self.
Nana siya mura og purpose ana. Is there like a
scientific purpose behind that?
Utility for that nga medyo yung lungs expand more, reach higher notes and something like you're a singer. So does the position of the body of a singer allow you to be able to maybe express a note on a higher level?
Yeah.
How does that work?
As far as I know, it does. Like having the proper posture when singing and being able to sing from your diaphragm and all that, expanding your lungs. It's for like the maximum amount of air that your lungs is supposed to take in, and for you to release that when you sing and belt it out.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the bending backwards though. Like I know standing straight has like a utilitarian. There's a reason behind that, but I'm not sure about the
bend.
Pero basin, I'll do some research on that because a lot of singers do that too. I see like sila Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, not as back-breaking as Pilita Corrales, but they bend their back. I always thought it was.
But how do you try to hit a high note? Do you does your body mechanics change? Kung for example, you're doing The Greatest Love of All or whatever. Kanang ina does it help if bawg imong lawas or dili?
I don't know about the bawg, but I do know that being in a proper posturing, you're upright.
Okay,
that's the best posture. It's
so straight, yeah.
Yeah, straight. Okay, it's much more difficult to sing sitting down, lying down, or so being upright is the best posture for you to maximize all the air.
Okay, so upright, ang sakto day nga body mechanics kung if you're trying to hit a high note is upright,
Yeah, as far as I know.
Okay.
But I do think there must be something to do with the back
exactly,
bending.
right?
Okay,
right.
I don't think it's just like an aesthetic thing or an expression thing. I'll look into that.
Sometimes what we know about something is what we believe about something, and we've held that belief for a long time. Actually, as it turns out, it's not true sometimes, diba?
Oh yeah.
So ang akong pagtuo
sure.
ang akong pagtuo ni Ana Justin, nagyo na say mura og purpose ba? Nganong magtuwad-tuwad man si Pilita Corrales mo kanta. Nagyo na purpose ana. So akong pagtuo is basig he can hit the high notes doing
better.
that. So na mga butang sa atong kinabuhi nga pagtuo na to mo na natong pagtuo pero kaning as it turns out dili di ay.
Oh yeah.
O kung mangutana lang ka, di ba? Kay komportable naman ka sa imuhang pagtuo ngayon. Nana na siya nga maglitad si Pilita pasabutan na nga she's trying to hit a high note. Dili di ito style ra gud ito niya.
Style.
Or whatever. Which brings us to our topic today. Ang atong topic today sa atong mag-anisay ta sugbo is kaning nakabantay mo ko Justin nga karong mga panahon na nibalik na sa ning mura na sa ning panahon sa eleksyon ni atong una nga ang mga tao nag-away na sad, right? Nag-away na sad, sige na sa glalis because of what's going on with the International Criminal Court and our former president, and also katong gipanghisgot ni Richard Hederian katong Sub-Saharan. Aligri kayo tanan kay I was actually in an international travel festival, the ITF. Sa waterfront, it's been going on for the past 10 years. Can you believe that? Courtesy of my Eventology. These are the organizers of that race, that festival. I'm sorry. And then aligri kayo kay mga speakers naghisgot man sila og kaning ilahang mga lugar, where they're from, mga LGU niya. Daghan man kay taga Mindanao dito. So instead of saying here in Mindanao, they would say here in Sub-Saharan Africa.
Sub-Saharan Africa.
Momento gisulti ni Richard Hederian. Nakakita ba ka to nga clip? Nakasabot ba ka na nga kuana nga murag narrativa nga si Richard Hederian was in a interview with BBC. Unya he was being asked about the whole ICC Duterte thing, and then he was trying to the interviewer was asking him kaning about Duterte, and hisgot siya about Mindanao. where Duterte is from Davao, di ba? Unya nahitabo is because he was trying to explain to the interviewer unsa ning Mindanao, right? So kanigod si Richard Herderian, I think what happened here was he just became too smart for his own good. I think sometimes
is that possible?
Oh, it's possible. Kaya nahitabo mo gud ani, he was trying to describe to somebody from Europe, from Britain, unsa ning Mindanao. So the only way
to contextualize it.
To contextualize it. So
para makasabot siya.
The only way he knew how was the economic index. Kaya kanang economic index mo gud mura man an indicator of how a country or an area is, di ba? So similar man sa sub-Saharan Africa ang Mindanao sa economic index. So mo i-describe niya sa
mo na gamit as a comparison
to the interviewer. Kaya dili man makasabot ang kung moingon ang interviewer, kung ingon nimo ang interviewer og Mindanao, di nakasabot siya. Kung sa Mindanao, I don't even know. Most people
without any prior research or background it's just like kasabot.
Most of the people think of us as the Philippines. Diba? In fact, kung na maggubat diri sa Mindanao, for example, pagtuo sa mga tao nga gubot kay tibok Pilipinas, diba? Kabantay ka na. Mo mo gyud na di ko na Pilipinas, pero layo ra kay tas tanan tinai, layo ra kay nas tinai ang nahitabo sa Mindanao nato kanang wala tay labot ana. So ang understanding sa kalibutan sa Pilipinas is what happens in the Philippines happens in the Philippines. Was laki ba ang archipelagicta and all that stuff. So mo nang mga
So that's why to contextualize para makasabot tong interviewer. Mo tong gigamit. Sa to
Sub-Saharan Africa.
Sub-Saharan Africa.
Ang economic index sa Mindanao. Of course, kaning nuance man kay itong statement on niya kung if you take it on its own merits, murag kuwang ra gito siya. Kaya dili man tanan sa tanang lugar sa Mindanao nga inana mo man toy murag average ba.
You know, think it was so did most people think it was a sweeping statement?
It was a sweeping statement that was not explained properly because he was just trying his best to contextualize Mindanao. So but that was not the topic, man. Good. That was not the topic. The topic was about ICC and the former president, right? So mo to siya nga nag-away na ang mga tao. Anyway, my point is nga grabe kayo ka riled up, grabe kay ka emotional ang mga tao. Unya kaninga mura og unsa naman sa ni balik naman sa ni sa murag election era.
And you know what, Jiggy? That's also I feel like that's an indication as to how we will be this coming election. So if that's what
warm up
ra to. So that's not even enough. I feel like tanawa karong summer when elections come, it's gonna get worse. So then that's why I feel like it's so important that we have this topic today for our Onisay Tasugbo. So padung na bayat taog election.
So akong pangutana karong buntaga sa atong mag-Onisay Tasugbo is online discourse worth it? Kana bang mga tao nga grabe kay sila
kanang discourse, Jiggy, how would you define that? Like,
I actually
simple argument, or is it just like anything to do with when you have a different opinion with someone and you voice it out? Is that considered as discourse?
Ang diskurso ba? Diskurso. Atoning i-define gid ba? A verbal interchange of ideas. Orderly and usually extended expression of thought on a subject.
So it's not even negative in its
negative.
Like plain face value. It's pretty much just the exchange of ideas. So ang atong diskurso sa online kay mag-away man tagod, magblinakay, magkaning mag-trollay and all that I don't
stuff,
think
right?
this topic wouldn't have come up in the first place if we did not see the way that people have been reacting to it online.
Exactly,
lately.
yeah.
So as we would always talk about here on TMC, the topics we're talking about are that in which like are happening right now sa atong kalibutan ba sa atong society niya. Makita mo gid nato. I tried not to be online for the entire week. Tried.
Good for you.
Tried. I had to take note of the word tried. But every time I did go online, everyone was going crazy about the news and everyone's nangaway ang ubang tao. Like I keep seeing people posting and mentioning how like, I never was able to unfriend so many people in my life until today.
Correct.
No, so it made me also think about like to what depths people go to defend their political ideals, and at the same time like how as persons we get affected by them bitaw nga. Imagine being so annoyed at someone having a different opinion than you, or not getting along with them, that you want to block them. Kay kasabot sad ko ana, Jiggy, kakita, are there some people that you notice like you just don't want to hear from them.
Nga naman.
I don't want to disrespect their opinion.
Kay para nako dili ta ganahan maminaw sa ilahang tingog sa ilahang ideas. Kay number one, sukwahi kay sa imuha. Opposite kay sa imuhang pagtuo. So dili ka ganahan maminaw na kay sometimes we're so emotionally attached to our beliefs.
Oh yeah.
We're so emotionally attached to what we think is right. So naagay tao nga mosulti nga sukwahi nga opposite sa imuhang gibati o imuhang pagtuo. Mura kadi ganun minaw na because you want to believe in whatever it is that you believe in. I think that's uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, that's number one. But what if in the case of like you having the same opinion as someone? I think it's also, to quote my Uncle Rocco, my Uncle Rocco, Jim Narvius, who also was here on the show a couple weeks ago. It's the manner in which you say things. So na yung mga tao, Jigger, if makarelate ka, okay naman nila yung mga pagkipangsulti. Like, to be honest, I have the same opinion as them, or I don't have an opinion regarding something, but it becomes like, I feel like they're jabbing it down my throat. Like, mura ko ma-overwhelm sa, like, kada minuto na lang siya i-repost. I don't know. So sometimes I try to like di na lang kumutan ako siya ma-post kay.
I think this has got to do with the way we humans are being the way we're constructed. I think we're more of a feeling beings than thinking beings, di ba?
Okay.
So thinking beings, thinking meaning hunahuna ka unsay gisulti niya, di ba?
Okay.
Pero kung feeling ka nga di mo ganahan siyang the way he says it. Wa man ay labot actually if you think about it, if you are thinking being dili na mo matter nimo kung hambugiro siya tan-aon, kung hugaw siya tan-aon.
If you're all on basically just the content as to what you're saying, if you're gonna just think if they're valid or not, then it wouldn't affect you so much.
Pero dili man kaganahan niya. Di ba? Ningon man si Joko Uncle Rocco Steady nga what did he say?
It's also in the manner in which you say things.
Yeah, exactly. So importante kay na siya tanan nga maka parse out ta sa atong kagalingon niya na.
Yeah.
Kay kita we're supposed to be able to understand di na gikan ng tao nganong inana na siya pero dili nimo i-appeal sa paghusga sa iyang gisulti in the manner in which he's saying it. Imong sabton ang iyang gisulti based on the merits of what he said, not as much as possible ba try to understand nga kita dili man ta thinking beings, feeling beings man ta kung maminaw ka usa ka tawo, mubasa ka usa ka tawo, dili nimo imagine nga siya gasulti nga bugiro kayo, yang naong kalagot kayo, nga daghang kay bugas or whatever. Nagpaguman kaning maminaw kaniya musulti ni anang butanga samot kasapot, di ba?
Okay, so it's important when you're looking into someone sharing their opinion, you're looking into the opinion in itself, not necessarily, or don't focus so much on how they say it,
how he says
but
it,
rather what's the substance of what they're trying to say, supposedly.
Yeah, but we just can't help it. We just can't help it lang yun.
Okay, that's one thing. Pero unsaon man ko ang substance mismo, what may substance?
Layan na sa niya. Layan na sa niya.
Diha, sa makalakot, when people are, they're sometimes like, makathink, what are you saying? What are you saying? Try to please get to the point. So that's, I guess that's why for the past days, I would rather not dip my toes into the cold waters of discourse.
Yeah. Is it even worth it? Mo man atong pangutana karong buntaga, is online discourse even worth it? I'm not just talking about politics. I'm talking about everything,
right? Any
right?
discourse.
Yeah, I think one of the first and primal questions that you should ask yourself. This is just my personal opinion, and I think please tell me, Justin, how you feel about it. Is como engage man kay online discourse. I think the most important question is, how did you get to what you believe in?
That's nice.
Unsa man imo pag-abot ni anang butanga nga you feel so strongly about? Unsa man imong nakatunan?
What is the root of it all?
Asa man kagikan ana, di ba? Kay namong iuban gud nga ilang ibuhaton is they don't really know a lot of things, but murag they feel like kani si siyang tawhana bright ni siya. Unya kaning murag muni ang ako ang mga pagtuo some of it. So siya na lang ako ang murag kaning mo what's the term for that? Na proxy ba? Kanang iyang mga pagtuo, kaning ako nang i-adapt. You know what I mean? Siya na kana siya kung mo post na siya, kung mo nana siya i-post, akong i-share kaya murag by proxy ba?
So it's kind of like I can relate to what this person is saying. So mapalaban ko ana.
So dili na imuhang kaugalingon nga processing, lain nga tao nagproseso ana nga usa ka butang nya paghuman mo adapt ka anang iyahang mga pagtuo kay dili man ka conversant, dili man kay kamaayo, dili man kay kuwang man imong nakatunan naabtan sa kanang usa ka butang, usa ka topic.
So when someone offers a better explanation of how you feel, you tend to latch onto that nya. Kana imo i-push. Right?
Murag gikan imo murag feeling smart kay smart man kay tong imong
imong gi-post, imong gi-share.
Smart.
But Jiggy, why is it important that we ask that question first? Okay, I feel like most of the time when there's a particular issue, when you're asked, not even when you're asked, when you're given the opportunity to choose which side to take, the first question we often ask is like, how do I feel about this issue? Not necessarily where do my beliefs on a certain issue come from. Why should we ask that question instead? Ngano importante magid nga mangutana ta nga ngano ingani man akong pagtuuan ni? Instead of just the belief in itself na okay, I vote for this idea. Like, why do I have to think about where it comes from?
Based on the example that I just said earlier, kadaghanan or naiuban nga butang nga atong pagtuo dili na pagtugikan because ato nang giproseso sa atong utok, sa atong kagalingon, ni adapt lang ta og another person's
so it's not yours
beliefs, another person's perspective, another murag computer nga lain ba imong gigamit ba? Dili you did not study that topic from its source. You know what I mean? From its original source. For example, na kay gisgutan nga, let's just say usa ka topic, let's just say international law, for example, international criminal court, whatever. So imo nang sabton sa, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dili ka mo.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing when it's not like if the source is not from you? Well, like let's say like you never really had an opinion about a certain matter. You had something like an ignorant idea towards it, and then sa imong pag-search or sa whatever the algorithm brings you, na a certain person who has more to say, then you latch onto that idea. Is that good or bad when the source isn't originally from you?
Is it good or bad if the source is not originally from you and you did not process that information, that topic, that issue properly by yourself? Na laing tao nga niadap. I think it
can
really
be dangerous.
That can be dangerous because more ram kag ni adapt na dili man ka siya. You're not him, right? You're not her. So may tabuan na is, for example, na siya sa gawas labi nag foreigner ang imuhang gi-adapt. So dili ang context sa iyang mga ideas
will always be different.
Dili Cebuano context, dili Filipino context, dili, di ba? You know, dili Asian context, di ba? So ang imong pag-process ana wa man sa kakibagod giunsa niya pag-abot niya nga konklusyon na you also do not know how he got to what he believes in. So kung mo adapt lang kan ani o kakibaw nga, for example kaning naday grabe kayong nahitabo siyang kinabuhi nganong nituo siya nang sa kabutang nganong nainana na siya na ba siya trauma, di ba? So wa jud kakibaw giunsa niya pag-abot sa iyang pagtuo. So kung magpatuga-tuga kag adapt sa iyang pagtuo,
that it's not your
then it's not yours, and you have no ground to stand on kung nag-adapt lang ka og usa ka butang nga imuhang gi-adapt ni mga mo na imuhang pagtuo kay mo may gisulti ni kuan, di ba?
So lack for a better term, magsunod-sunod ta.
Ang imong buhaton gyud na is you have to go to the original source, meaning to say kung usa ka topic, let's just say I don't know, maybe religion, Biblia or whatever,
religious documents, or
whatever
that in which experts have made. So the same way, if politics, then you look at jurisprudence, you look at kanang mga previous court rulings or actual, not just opinions of. So bali, you know what, Jiggy, they always talk about that in school. Kanang importance of looking into primary sources instead of just kanang, of course, having a more reliable source of information, dili lang hearsay or what like other people's opinions on a certain matter. So I think that's really important too. In our case, kung pabasahon may og kaso, we are always discouraged from reading case digests, which are other people's summaries of other cases. So inigbasa na nila sa case, maghimo na sila summary. Usahay kung gitapol ko, ubasa lang ko summary. Why would I read the whole thing, right?
Correct.
Pero it always comes to my like, it's always kanang a disadvantage to do that. Kaya you are not reading the text and understanding it in your own under your own terms ba. Ang opinions that you form are based off of somebody else's
yeah.
summary. So you lose that opportunity to grasp that for the first time and come up with those on your own. So I get why gina-discourage na siya. So in the same way, maybe looking into proper sources would help. Dili lang other people's opinions and posts ang atong gamiton siguro, no?
You know, one of the primary reasons nga daw ang ato ang discourse online is messed up, is chaotic, is I think because mura man gunig infotainment gud ang ato ang pagtuuan ng internet ba. Mura ba nice. Kana bang we actually don't seriously consider what we're posting. It's like just fun. It's just fun, you know? It's just
Why do you say that? Just for the heck of it?
Kanang ang algorithm man sa social media, di ba, is it rewards outrage, di ba? It rewards controversial ideas. It rewards kaning violence. It rewards kaning mga bombastic statements, di ba?
Yeah, exactly.
So
and the main reason for that is because that's more entertaining. That's what gets the views. That's what gets people riled up and hype.
Yeah. Kay kaning kung mag-post ka, lingaw siguro sila nag-post sila na paghuman ganahan sila nga I don't know, maybe mag virtue signaling sila nga you know, like nasa sila na ibawan, bright sila, which is you know.
Ikaw, Jiggy, personally, malingaw ka og online discourse? Like engaging in it or watching?
I actually there's a part of me that enjoys it.
The engagement or the watching?
I like magud to put my idea to the test, and the only way to do that is to throw it out there, diba? Put it out there.
Feed it to the wolves.
Put it out there in the wild, right? So to speak, right? Because you know, like you'll never know how they feel about what you think. And sometimes I don't post exactly what I want to say. I post
like an ambiguous.
I post something to make me understand about something else. You know what I mean? I'm trying more protracted ako mga questions ba. Anyway, your question, yes, I do enjoy sometimes online discourse, right?
Okay.
But kuyawan ako usahay kay murag, especially kung moabot na ka sa maghisgot na ka og mga tao sa gawas, for example, kay na may mga online chat groups nga maka-join ka. Grabe kayo, labi na sa West America, grabe kayo ka isog. Ganong like, you know, like mura bag kaning they're so brutally honest ba?
Yeah, isog in one way, like not only in the way that they talk about their opinions.
You know, like, you know, I don't know where this is going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where this conversation is going. You know, like, we know that already. You know, ano ba, bro, ha?
It's a cultural thing. Imagine if ikaw, you see those uncles on the street na man gid na magtapok ng mga tiguwang yung mag-story about certain topic. Diba? The most you would say is dili kay ana. Can you imagine if somebody actually said to you or in that situation nga, I don't know where this is going. Like, we already know that. It does sound a little, kind of sounds rude, but I think it's a cultural thing.
Good,
Dili na uso sa ato kay so try to say that to someone, you'll really spark an argument.
Ikaw Justin, like unsa man imong no, how do you feel about it? Like kanang akong unang pangutana is how is it's important to know where you got to that place, right? How you got to believe what you believe in, right? For example, nganong mosuporta man ka ng tawhana, ngano man asa man nagikan, asa man nagsugod, unsa may nagsugod ana nganong grabe man kayo ka mutuan ng tawhana, diin man nagikan. So kung ang let me just finish this thought. Kung naabot ka ana gikan lang sa istorya sa uban, then that's not that's not a good place because ni adapt ra man ka og usa ka pagtuo based sa ubang tao.
That's super important, Jiggy, because I do feel like most of the time with everyone else's opinions, makasay sad gid ka ba nga, magduda-duda sad ka ba nga, is that really your opinion or sunod-sunod ra ka?
Sunod-sunod lang ka diha, di ba?
Sunod-sunod ra ka, asa man nimo makuha. So nakuha rather. So yeah, I never.
How do you get to the things that you feel strongly about? Unsa man mga butanga nga nituo kang grabe kay imong pagtuo, it elicits a strong emotion from you, a strong response from you, diin nagikan ang imuhang mga pagtuo ngano man ka nga, why do you feel so strongly about that particular issue, about that particular topic?
Well, I just try to see if a particular topic or issue is in line with like my already set values and beliefs, I guess. And if I don't know much about it, then I'll try to read up or like tanaw mga news about it, and then that would also depend, no? Because as we all know, it depends on what sites you go to and what news outlets you check, because then the way people write things would also influence, your opinion on a certain matter.
Correct, yeah.
In general, I would say I'm quite opinionated. Like, I do have something to say about anything, but I think what should follow with that should be the fact na you know more about the topic. Okay, I'm also the type, Jingy, if I don't know much about a topic, I prefer not to have a stand also, which I feel on one side of the coin, it's good. Kaya murag neutral ka.
What's good?
When we would prefer not to make a statement or a comment on something that you're not well versed about.
Okay.
But on the other hand, people can also see it as wala man kay paki about, like I feel guilty about it sometimes. Like, maybe you have nothing to say, because you don't know much about it, because like maybe you don't care enough. Like, I feel guilty about that sometimes. Like, somebody will ask me like a political opinion in which I have not like wapa ko gathered news on, I wapa ko katanog data about niya. When I'm asked about it and I say I don't really have an opinion, there's like a voice in the back of my head probably like, because like you probably didn't care about it at first. Like maybe you don't care about it enough to read about it yet, unless unless it piques your interest.
It goes back to us being emotional or feeling beings, not thinking beings, diba?
Oh, if I don't resonate with the idea, I won't have the interest to learn more about it.
What if you resonate with the person?
Oh.
You resonate with the person ba?
Okay.
So you have an emotional connection with the person, right?
Sige.
Ganahan ka niya.
Okay.
Pero wa kay kalibutan sa mga issue. Pero ganahan man kaniya, right? You don't care about whatever he says or she says is already gospel truth because ganahan man kaniya, right? Muna akong pasabot nga it's either you're thinking being or feeling being. Most of us, 99.99% of us are feeling beings. We don't vote with our hearts. We vote. We don't vote with our brain, with our heads. We vote with our hearts, right? So akong pangutana diha is kaning sakto ba na nga tungod lang kay makarelate ka ng tawhana kaning basi unsa ing sulti sakto na.
Oh wow. So I do think having like a certain connection, whether it's personal or not, to an individual, that counts as something, also a merit.
Absolutely, yeah.
Especially if like all the more if you know the person. So if you know the person personally, when there are things that are being said about them or when they have a certain ideology, you tend to follow that.
Exactly,
like the same way in which like whatever your parents believe in, sometimes we adapt it. Like what my parents think about a certain issue, okay, more or less, unless I have something completely different, kana na pud akong i-follow. So but I don't think that's the only thing you should bank on. I think being independent and making your own opinions is just as important as taking initiative to research about it.
But what does it mean to make your own opinion? Like unsa kay proseso ba?
How do you form your own opinion?
Exactly.
You really have to expose yourself to different opinions. Because I would really say nga, if you're only in your own bubble, like you only talk to the people with the same ideas as you.
Or confirmation bias, mangita lang kag information nga mo confirm sa imong bias,
that's also another thing. Mangita kag information that fits within your narrative, so then you're not actually learning anything new. That's why it's so important. That's, in one way, Jiggy, one of the best things about online discourse, if you look at it. I think that's the way people get involved and exposed.
Okay.
Kay, they're not only talking to like people around their circle, they're putting their opinion for everyone else to see man. So, yeah, I guess that's the good thing about online discourse. No, that's the useful. If we're gonna look at the utilitarian side of online discourse, mao na ang gamit ana para ma-expose ka sa opinions uban.
So kaning uban di ay wala pa ni sila naka-form silang opinion, nagpost-post na sila nga mura silang kamao paghuman unsa man like akong pangutana is it's good to study, to understand what the issue is based on other people's opinions about it and all that stuff. Pero ikaw, nganong mag-post mga butang nga pakakabaw para ma-expose imong butang, imong mga pagtuo sa kalibutan para either whether you're correct or not. Is that your way to correct yourself?
It could be a way for some people to do that. Like, they want to challenge and see what people have to say about it. So,
nindot na. Pero kung
when does it become? That's the thing. When do we have like What's the healthy threshold for that?
No. Let's go back to what we talked about. How do you get to what it is that you believe in, right? Kana siyang butanga murag kapoy kay nastanan. Lisod kay nastanan. Daghan kayo kag basahon.
Yeah.
Right? Inconvenient ka. Do you have time? Do you have
read everyone's opinions?
No. I don't. No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the source of that conversation. I'm talking about, kasi mo mga pagtuo ba? Wala na ka nag-adapt og pagtuo sa imong mama magpapa, wala ka nag-adapt sa imong uncle nga pagtuo, wala ka nag-adapt sa imong mga paborito nga mga superstar o mga thinker. You got it. You process it yourself. Kung imo nang buhaton, purti kang daghanang basahon kapoy kay nas tanan.
And do you also think that's possible to really have anything that's untouched or uninfluenced from anyone?
No. It's not like that. But what I'm saying is the original
kung make it fully
kanang imong na may mga butang nga dugay na kay tanan that stood the test of time, di ba? So mo na imong like for example, ang nag-originate anong sa kabutanga. Imong basahon na siya. Ano bitaw? Of course.
And it'll take forever for you to fully understand about.
So muna akong mangutana, that's really the reason why I'm asking that question, because kung ganahan ka expert og usa ka butang, purti ng kapuya, purti ng lisuda, daghan kay kag kanon ba before you can get to the point nga you become an expert at it. Kasabot ka?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
becoming an expert at something.
Muna ang ako that's how I feel passionately about nga dili mo ka expert anang usa ka butanga. Good nganong magpagawas makasi imong
giba. So does that mean only experts have the right to pagawas sa ilang gibati?
Dili sad siguro.
Okay, kung mao na ang case, then social media what man should there be like a verification that only like unsa man na siya kurso na siya nga di ka pwede mo kay di ka expert ani. That's the thing about online discourse, because everyone is empowered, and being an expert is then subjective also, because who says like what you have a PA, unless does that necessarily mean that you have to have some sort of educational attainment or kanang expert ka kay nagtrabaho ka sa gobyerno or expert
that helps.
Diba?
That helps. Yeah.
Kay
formal education helps. The academia helps. And
experience also.
Exposure to the thing helps, and the duration and the the number of years that you've spent on that particular topic helps, right? So, but you actually stumbled upon a very important question. Ingon tana ka nga. Kung pasabot na ang mga expert na opinion ang mga walay expertise, walay opinion.
Or dili value as much kunuhay, not as valued opinion.
Well, kitang tanan, we're experts on something, right?
Yeah, on something.
Oh, on something. On maybe one
not
or
the same things.
one or two things, di ba? Not too many things. So, kay expert man sila ng butanga diha, mo man na ilang panginabuhi.
Okay.
Philosopher man na sila, politiko man na sila. Pare man na sila, whatever. Okay. So sila expert na. So kung dili ka pare, kung dili ka politiko, kung dili ka kaning scientist, dili siguro na expertise nimo. So dili siguro kaayo ka maayo anang usa ka butang, di ba?
Okay.
So kana siya. So mo na akong pasabot nga kung mo quote ka, you quote an expert, di ba?
Okay.
You know what I mean? So mo yun ka nga, the whatever, philosopher, whatever, or something, right?
So then, should decisions, like I'm looking at the greater scheme of things,
okay,
not only just in making an online conversation or having a stand, do you think that to be able to make a grand decision, like someone must have expertise on it, or like it must be backed up by like, not necessarily personal experience, pero dapat expert siya anang kabutanga to be able to have a say on that?
Expert. Well, ideally, yes. Mo na nakapait ang social media lagi karon kay before there was only like TV, right? TV.
People in media ra gyud ang makasay.
So mora na sila mahog og murag reliable sources, di ba?
Okay.
Say kay mora man na sila naay voice. Karon kay everybody has a voice man. That's both a good thing and a bad thing, di ba? Everybody has a voice.
It's empowering, but at the same time it's also detrimental kay murag. Yeah, at one point on the kanang
of the scale,
individual level, no, on one side of the scale, it is nice nga everyone has a voice in which murag tagaan ka og opportunity to say whatever you want to say.
Platform ka,
platform. But on the other side of the scale, the extreme side, like what you mentioned, there's a question in which like, is what you're saying reliable ba? Because are you just saying something to pahungaw, or at the same time
adopting somebody's opinion?
Adapting someone's opinion. But either way, for me, that's the nature of social media. Nga murag, it's not only just for experts to talk. It's not just something. It's not the train that only experts can ride. Unfortunately, everyone can ride that train. And so it really depends on you na gyud kung. I think that's where the friction is coming from, because there are people that claim to be experts, and there are some nga are actual experts, and the reality is di man gyud na sila magpariha og opinion, magbangga man gyud. So then people are also torn between like, which one do I believe, just because this famous influencer sided with this,
okay ra nang torn. I think that's really that should be the natural state of things. You're torn because because it's complicated, because it's nuanced, because you can never understand everything. So torn is fine. I like torn. I like being torn about something,
because that also means you're
thinking,
your brain is turning.
Yeah, it's working, right?
Everything's stirring. When is it not fine?
Kanang muro na kag well, if it debilitates you, if it does not make you if it paralyzes you, if you're emotionally involved on something, pag hindi ka maka-act. But ang uban man gud, grabe na kay ka strong ilang opinion about something, although they did not expose themselves with enough opinion, enough facts, enough knowledge about one thing. Grabe na kay ka strong. So which goes back to my question, how did you get there in the first place? Nganong nituo man kanang usa ka butangan diin man nagikan. Unsa man imong gibasa, unsa man imong gipaminaw, kinsa man opinion imong gipaminaw. Kaning daghan kag nabasahan ang usang ka topic. Muna importante nang pangutana, diin man nagikan imuhang pagtuo.
Okay. Asking the source, challenging if it's valid or not also in the first place.
You ask yourself, bitang anong ganahan makikaw na niya nga tawana sa? Unsa inahanan niya? Which goes back to thinking and feeling beings. Ganahan ko niya kay makarelate ko. Morag yun. Agay! Morag yun.
Nice again ang isa. Wait, let me hear that again.
Agay!
Bago
na siya.
Oh my, do we have other nuance or kanara?
So mo na siya, Justin. Importante kayo kay kita manggod. We don't have forever, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we don't live forever. Ato ang bisita diring lugar, gitawag na to planeta Earth, is fleeting, right? We have limited
not permanent
time in this Earth. We have limited bandwidth like a computer. Nga kung masobrahan og data, di mo bog down, di ba? Atong utok po inanapod, right?
Okay.
So ang akong pangutana, which goes back to the original question, is online discourse worth it ba? So
worth all the time, the kahago,
and the emotional investment pagid ba unya ikaw, kung ang imong ultimate goal is to make this country a better place, right?
Okay.
Make the world a better place, whatever,
yes,
right?
Many people would claim.
Yeah.
For their opinions.
Kana imong opinion kung mo post ka na, does it make the world a better place?
I think, Jiggy, that's a really good. Aside from asking, when you ask yourself, is online discourse worth it? Number one, you ask, asa man gyud gikan imong pagtuo. Second question you should ask is, unsa man gyud imong goal of that discourse? Kay, as Jiggy would mention, if your goal is to make a better place, then perhaps there are other ways in which you can do that.
On your field of expertise, maybe?
Yes, in which you can buwelo gyud nga makatabang ka.
Makatabang ka nang dapita sa imong kinabuhi.
Avenues in which pwede ka mapahungaw na magamit gyud imong opinion, and it's not just gonna be like another piece of paper in the waste bin. Number two, if you're it really depends gyud on sa imong goal. So unsa mo gyud imong goal sa discourse, that's the question. Kay ang uban, if ilang goal is panghungaw, then
magpahungaw lang,
magpahungaw, then masatisfy na sila sa ilang post. They don't care if they gain more knowledge or not. Basta nakaingon sila.
Nakinahundong ko niya itong una, Justin, I don't know if you ever had this opportunity nga. Kung nakaigahan ni pahungaw, manawag kag amigo. Manawag kag amiga, di ba?
Yes.
Let's have coffee or let's have a drink, right? Pahungaw ka karon kay magpahungaw ka online man, tibok kalibutan naman.
Kana Jiggy, di nakakailangan mo bayad og kape.
Tibok kalibutan naman imong ipahungawan sa imong gibati nga porting sayo pa or porting misinformed kayo or whatever, right?
Mas dako man kag audience, mas lis haso tanawa ra good. If back in the day you have to call a couple of friends and tell them, "Kabaw ka, this is issue I want to talk about blah blah blah." it takes so much resources, time, and effort. Karon, just pull out your phone. You know, it makes it easier. You have a bigger audience pa, and you feel more validated, I feel, just from a single like, from a single share.
Oh, good.
Would you say that's more validating than one friend telling you, sakto ka, Jig, sakto ka? Diba, mas validating ang daghang tao mo share, daghang tao mo, diba? It feeds your ego a little bit more.
Validates you. So our idea of validation is different now. Before,
yes,
if it's
someone agreeing,
if it's a trusted friend, and then listens to you. But mo sa nagud ka ng friends kung imo nang istoryaan nimo sa imuhang mga gibati, they will not necessarily agree with you. In fact, if it's a true friend, imong kastorya mangapi mo somewhere, he or she is probably going to disagree with you, right?
Yeah.
And you'll probably be challenged nganong mo man imong pagtuo dili man mao.
Yeah.
Diba? So you'll probably have that, pero amigo man nimo. So dili gid mo mag-away. Kay you're friends, right? But mabot mo sa panahon nga masig unsa ka amigo, mag-away na inuon kay laylay ang mga pagtuo, di ba?
Yeah.
Right?
So then again, it also brings up like the idea of being open-minded. You must be open-minded to like what your friends have to say about you. But as I would mention, I think the question of whether online discourse is worth it or not depends on your goal. Kung worth it nimo nga magpahungaw ka and people listen to you and you feel empowered that way, then if you enjoy that, then it's always going to be worth it for you. But if what's worth it for you is gaining like insights outside of your own, being able to have like a in-depth conversation with other people, then you would really say, yeah, worth it ang online discourse. Or if what you value is other pressing matters in life, like experiencing things in real life and not just, being stuck to your online realm, then you would feel like online discourse is not worth it. That's why you don't engage.
Or maybe imuhag yun ang actual panginabuhi, influencer siguro ka.
Okay.
Katong nahitabo ni Richard Hederian. Let's go back to that, right? Katong hisgot niya nga Sub-Saharan Mindanao, whatever, right? Influencer man siya good. So his job is to engage people, right? So aga kabawang gisulti lang to niya for the heck of it para lang mga na-engagement.
Yeah.
He's saying something actually technically correct, but he knows it's going to spark a conversation, right? So he did that. We ended up talking about Richard Hederian in a frigging international travel festival.
Yeah.
So that's the realm of influence that you have. So makaingon siya, kuyawan ako, grabe. Katawa to siya dito ba? And he even posted nga, I got 20 million engagement because of the Sub-Saharan thing, right?
Yeah.
So, mo na iyang objective. Mo na nganong inana na siya.
Yeah.
Ikaw, inana sa ka? Is that what you want to be also?
Are you an influencer?
And then kung influencer ka, then you have to be thick-skinned. Dili ka mahimo nga magsuko din ka. Kaya kung imong tuyo engagement, may insultuhon man juga.
Yeah.
Naman yung maglagot nimo. So normal na niya ni kang Richard because mo man iyang panginabuhi, influencer man ni siya.
So would you say that
kaon sa imong tuyo, what's your objective? Then that's his objective.
Would you say that his objective is valid?
Which one?
Kana si Richard because it's within his scope of work man. So valid. Okay yung objective.
He was able to make a point which was technically correct, but he didn't have to say that. Like I said, he's too smart for his own good, and he didn't have to say that because he could have said other examples about to describe to the interviewer unsa ng Mindanao, right? But
I think then the next question would be, when is your purpose for the online discourse valid and invalid? Is it valid enough? Okay, in his context, it's valid man kay, as you mentioned, influencers siya. So what if dili ka influencer, just a regular folk, you just wanna pahungaw, is that valid or not? Like, what if you're just a regular folk?
person nga.
You're not like them nga influencers, you have no, you in the grand scheme of things, you have a lesser impact to the political landscape. Lesser but not completely zero.
At the end of the day, it's up to you. It's really up to you. It's up to you. What do you do? What do you want to do with your time? So if it's worth it for you, then it's worth it for you. That's your.
Nobody can also. Do you also believe that nobody can also say invalid imong purpose.
Yeah. So I just want to have this conversation. So mura sila, they're more discerning ba when they post stuff ba nganong tuo man ko ana, nganong ganahan man ko ng tawana, di ba? Nganong grabe man kay ko karabi, nganong gi-block man ako akong paryente tungod kay lain
ang paryente no.
Dili pareha kog pagtuo ang akong kandidato nga ganahan dili ganahan. Yang nganong ang mga tao ang mga pananaw sa tao dayon kung mo believe ka ang kandidato or tawhana bogo. Dili man sila bogo. You know what I mean? And they probably don't know also how they got to where they are.
Yeah.
And you also probably don't know how you got to where you are. Wa ka ba nganong ganahan mo ko ning kandidato? You know, it goes back to free will again, right?
The question of free will.
Kanang mga butang gud nga atong mga pagtuo, mga our deeply held beliefs mo sometimes watay labot ana. Naabot ra ta
to a certain point.
Naabot ra, for example, ikaw kung natao ka sa let's just say sa Saudi Arabia, katoliko ka, you know what I mean? Kung
there are choices that are made before you,
di ba? So kung let's just say for example, kung you were born before martial law, for example, or if you were born at this certain time of the nation's history, kaning ganahan ka kaninang kandidato ha? Kung kung himong papa wa ga trabaho anang kandidato
would you also
mo suporta ka kanang kandidato ng kontra niya, you know what I mean? So there's so many factors nga naabot na atong mga pagtuo nga atong deeply held beliefs nga wa tay labot. So now that you know that, then you sit down
and you sort it out
and then look at yourself in the mirror.
Which one you feel like
ngano bitong naabot ko aning pagtuo nako? Tungod siguro si papa na trabaho ni aning tawhana.
Tungod siguro kay akong close friend kay strong kay siyang beliefs ani nga thing.
Or maybe kaning nakoy amigo nga gipatay because of this. You know what I mean?
Or I go to an institution that kanang for some reason ang mga nako, for example, people I look up to kay ingato po og pagtuo. So maybe
akong mga surroundings, akong environment, di ba? Nga mo nila pagtuo, so mo lang end up lang po nako, di ba? So I think when you become of age, when you become an adult, then you sit yourself down, look at yourself in the mirror and say, ngano bitaw sa kanang iningon ani man ko? Nganong ang ako ang views liberal man or conservative man, nganong tuo man kay ko?
Where did I get these from?
Where did I get this from?
And which ones do I feel like serve me?
Nganong Lenny Robredo man kay ko? Nganong Duterte man kay ko? Nganong Marcos man kay ko? Ano bitaw? Nganong atheist man ko? Nganong Katoliko man ko? Nganong Kristiyano? Mangutana ka na sa, look at yourself in the mirror and then say, okay, where do I start? Like so whatever it is that you believe in, right? Tuok anin niya. Then you start reading books about that. Try to go to the original source as possible. Short of talking to to the person who invented democracy, for example. You know what I mean? So there are books to read. There are people who've already.
There's article. There are articles as well.
Yeah.
So you're encouraging that right now.
Yeah.
In the sense of understanding the purpose for online discourse.
Yeah.
You encourage and you want to advocate for that jigging and murag. Try to be knowledgeable first.
Yeah.
Expound your first.
Yeah. And figure out what you want to do with your life also. Seriously.
It's so no? Everything is connected again.
Yeah.
Ang kanang finding your purpose in life, what you want to do, it reflects man good in your online discourse, diba? That's one thing that we overlook. Sometimes we think we're just doing an opinion for the heck of it, but we forget it reflects your very ideals and everything you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
So if wala ka ba what you want to do with your life, more reflexed na sa mga posts.
Yeah, exactly. I have an interesting message here from where's this? Mail from somebody. Si Mel Libreo. Okay, what's that?
Vice ganda.
Si Mel Libreo na siya. I used to handle a radio program called Dial Your Opinion. In the 90s. We raised the current topic for people to comment on pros and cons, and we put them on the air. As moderator, I made sure that the discussion does not to attack the person, rather to focus on the topic. At the end of the program, I summarized the stand of both parties and left it to the general listeners to decide who is right. The online discourse nowadays is that there is no more moderator. One moderator. Everyone just puts their opinion or beliefs without thinking of the consequences. Good enough that there are laws in place that hold individuals accountable if the opinion or belief is defamatory. So
that's interesting. That's a nice take. Shout out to Mel Libre. Thank you for sharing that.
Kanang Facebook wa man ay
Why magbantay diha? I mean, nagyapon community guidelines.
Why moderator, di ba?
Oh, i-flag man mo post if it's defamatory, and as he mentioned.
Yeah, but
pero
grabe na kayo kakuan
yeah.
Grabe na kay ka strong na siguro imong opinion nga murag dili na siya madaba, pero you know, by and large, everybody just says whatever they want, right?
Yeah, you can still hurt someone's feelings without having to like result to defamatory.
To be honest with you, to be honest with you, I understand the inclination. I understand where that is coming from. Maglagot kang i-block nimo, but I never go there. You know what I mean? I never go there. Kana imong parente.
Because of it's just because of having a different view from someone.
Diba? I never.
Pero maybe I don't know. I want to ask someone who's actually done it. I want to look for people who's actually done that. I want to ask what's the why? What's the behind that?
Yeah.
You know, what's the psychology behind that as well?
Yeah,
I'll look into that pod.
Yeah, kay basig ang akong ganahan magud buhaton nimo is mangutana gyud kasi among kagulingon, like kung na kay di ganahan nga tao bang mangutana sir kang ngano ka siya nga grabe kay siya nituan usa ka butang sa ngano ka sa. I think
tell me why.
Then it is upon you also to try to understand. More empathetic ka ba?
So you yourself should also not judge right away. Kasabot na lang sad ka.
That's probably your responsibility also. You know, like
okay.
Because I
so it's both sides.
Yeah, because I said a few days ago I posted before you're a Cebuano, before you're a Filipino, you're a human, right?
Yeah.
You're a human being, right? So maybe it should stem from that. Just start there.
Yeah. By the way, one of the best things about your posts sa TMC, guys, it's not too late to make an opinion.
Yeah.
If there's something you still want to say, gikan na to from a couple days ago, like Jiggy posted it from last week. We'll always bring back a couple topics. This is somewhat related to some of the on-site Subo topics that we had the other day. So, tanaw lang sa among post dito sa Tops Media Center on Facebook, and then comment said mo.
Yeah.
Especially on what
ikaw Justin, kaning na kay usa ka butang nag-post ka or react ka nga you feel strongly about. And then you felt the need to engage in that topic, in that conversation, because you feel strongly about it. Nakasuway na ka na niya. Unsa mo tong butang, unsa mo tong topic ka? If ever that happened to you.
Yeah. There was one. I don't think I can give so much details about it because I was young. And it was I think, now looking back at it, I could have channeled it differently.
Okay.
Perhaps not maybe just without posting it. But I did feel strongly about there's an individual that I disagreed on.
Okay, about what particular topic?
About kanang mental health.
Okay.
And so I felt like I didn't want to be an ableist and enable rather this person mocking mental health. But I can't give much details, but the concept, the context is kaning nga tawhan na murag nagbinuang siya or ni-allow siyang make fun ang mental health or something like that. This person actually provided an avenue, an event that
mocks.
Yeah, it in generally mocks
mental health.
And it made a lot of other people in that event uncomfortable. And so I thought that I felt it was very contrary to that person's ideals and how that person has been spreading that virtue of being open. We shouldn't judge other people in their professional life for years.
Okay.
Part man
do you know this person personally?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So I felt like if that's your lifestyle, if that's your life to teach, in a way, the value of being open-minded and loving people and all that, why are you providing an avenue for people to make fun of people with mental health issues?
Okay.
Specifically illnesses that are in nature that are kanang to a certain degree not up to choice, to a certain degree again. We have to be specific with that, like depression for example. So katong nga time we post ko og something like I ranted about it, and then it reached them. Actually, I also ranted to them, and then I posted about it again. It reached them. I got different opinions. The family members of that individual were disappointed, not in me, at that individual. They apologized on their behalf and told me, it's sad that that's what's happening. And I said, I just don't understand why, that's the case. And then the individual's other family members also told me, I should have just not, I should have just told them directly or something like that. And at that time, my justification was it was a big enough event for me to not just say anything publicly, especially because I was also involved, man. So, I did tell them personally, but I also posted it. So
okay.
there's things I learned.
So eventually, was it resolved offline?
Yeah, it was resolved offline.
Okay.
They didn't.
So,
They
because
failed. They don't do that kind of event anymore.
The beauty of that also is that you know these people, right? And you know the family of these people and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, mahitabuan na is at least na kay maistorya even offline,
Yeah,
right?
you know what's ironic now?
No.
Now I see the post of that one individual, and it's all like mental health. Never blame someone for like things that they can't choose, like depression. I'm like, yeah, that's what I said a couple years ago. That's what I posted about. But I'm glad that they've adapted.
Yeah.
Not only that they've taken my opinion, but somehow they saw my side because now she's posting about it naman in my side. So I guess it was good.
Okay.
I just wish I'd never have to do that again, and I don't want to do that again because.
Was it emotionally draining?
No, I also saw their side nga. Some things you don't have to post.
Yeah, okay.
So
some things you don't have to post.
yeah, you don't have to.
Okay.
I wanted to though. I don't regret it.
Okay.
I wanted to post that, so it was okay. But you don't have to. Life would have just been less gubot if I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So okay ra pod. But it already happened. I have no regrets about it.
Okay.
And it looks like it went to a good result now because they're using that ideology.
Okay.
Pero as I mentioned, if you can go
so
a different route, then
But you don't feel like it was emotionally draining for you?
emotionally draining, no.
Okay.
I don't think it was also emotionally charging.
Okay.
It wasn't like it was just for me. Like I just wanted to say something about
Okay,
it, and I
okay.
didn't feel good about not saying something about it
Okay.
in public.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's continue this conversation online. You can post on our Facebook page. Chris Robin, thank you so much.
Hello.
And the rest of those who participated in our conversation. You know what? I'm gonna. I actually posted something a few days ago.
Okay.
Regarding this topic.
Perfect.
Those who came before us were victims of the ignorance of their time. In time, it will be revealed how stunningly ignorant we were during our time. So ang atong mga forefathers, atong mga nuno, they were ignorant about a lot of things that we know now. But in the future, we will be known to be
We'll be them.
stunningly ignorant about what we don't know
Our time will come.
about our time, right? So let's leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
And
It's
I
not
hope
too late to comment yet, guys. If you
Yeah.
have other opinions you want to comment, Jiggy has a series of posts on
Yeah.
Toss Media Center on Facebook.
Jiggy Juice on Facebook, on YouTube, Tops Media Center. Join us in our conversation so we can, figure out whether this is the best use of our time. Is online discourse worth it, right?
Yeah.
Or should you be doing something else that you're very good at?
Yeah.
You're an expert on. And speaking of experts, I know that you brought with you a special guest,
Right.
who is a kind of an expert in looking good and modeling, right?
Right.
Right. Who is our next guest, Justine?
Right. So in a couple minutes, guys, we'll have a good friend of mine. He's a male model, and he also won Mr. Pilipinas Global
Okay.
2023.
Okay.
He's a big model
Mr. Pilipinas Global.
Let me see again
Okay.
the name to be sure. Yeah, it is called Mr. Pilipinas Global 2023 and
Okay.
other competitions as well. So he has experience in pageantry as well as in modeling.
Okay.
We'll get to have an inside look into the male modeling industry, no? I don't know about you, Jiggy. I feel like I'm more well versed into female.
Me too.
Kaning male what's yung kalibutan?
Yeah.
What makes it different?
Yeah.
How does it work in there?
Exactly.
So we've got someone to talk about that.
That's the
in a couple
only
minutes.
the only thing that I know about beauty contests. It's Miss Universe.
Miss Universe.
I
Miss
don't
Cebu, Miss.
I don't have any insight on male pageantry.
Kato na yung giapilan sa una, Jiggy.
Mr. Universe. Wa man to. Kaning
Mr. Tops.
No, Mr. Universe to siya kaning si Arnold Schwarzenegger man good. Mas dako siya nako, mas taas siya nako. So pagtapad nako napildi jugo pero hapit gamay like kuwang pildi
Di
ta.
masad ta ka sa singa.
Bodybuilding to ang
Bodybuilding?
bodybuilding
Oh
to
my
ang
God, Jiggy of all things. No? So yeah,
Well,
as we Jiggy also has experience in the male modeling industry, of course. But we have someone else also
bodybuilding ako.
to talk about it in a few minutes,
okay,
guys.
stay tuned. Coming up in just what's his name again?
John Tanting.
John Tanting. Coming up next here on 105.1 TMC.
The best of us.
105.1 TMC, the most Cebu music, and live in the studios of 105, we have model and Mr. Pilipinas, Ginoong 20, what year is this?
2023.
2023, about a couple of years ago. We have no less than John Tanting.
Woo!
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Hi, Tants. Thank you for joining us today.
Tant? Did you say Tan?
Tants, yeah.
Tan.
That's his nickname, Tants.
Tants.
No, from his last name,
Tant.
Tanting. That's a good one.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah.
John, go ahead.
Hi, I'm a third-year physical therapy student. I also do modeling from time to time. I've modeled in Manila. I've also done a couple of pageants here and there, one in Thailand and one in Turkey.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
nice.
what does it mean exactly when you say you're a model? What is that? What does that mean? Does that mean you're a commercial model? Is there like a non-commercial model if that's the case? And then because Justin also mentioned pageantry, right?
Yeah, which is
what is that?
apparently a different thing.
Is that a different thing than modeling? Are they one and the same?
Well, before when I told people that I did pageantry, someone asked me, "Oh, so you haven't done modeling yet? You look good for modeling." So I was like, "Oh, it must be a different thing."
Okay.
And I've been told that modeling is when you do runways, when you do print shoots, like working for brands type of thing. So it's kind of different apparently.
Yeah. Because most of these supermodels that I know of, and usually female, right?
Yeah.
Are not beauty queens, right? They are not beauty queen contestants. They're not Miss Universe or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
They're just models,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So does this usually converge? Because based on what I've seen, the supermodels are not pageant winners, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of models in Manila that I've never heard of them in terms of like pageantry, but they're one of the top models in the Philippines.
So
So it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of beauty queens, beauty kings, in some say, like
Okay.
pageant kings.
Okay.
Oh.
I just feel it's uncomfortable to say beauty king, right?
Yeah.
We're kind of used to the word
beauty is such
queen.
a feminine word, right? It's a feminine word. Even pageant, right? Like
Exactly.
it's usually when I hear the word pageant, it's just female to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you're here to probably
Shed light on that.
break down that
stereotype.
the stereotype, right? Continue, please. Sorry.
So yeah, with male pageantry, it's a little bit different because exactly what you said. Like when people think about pageantry, they think about females.
Yeah.
And then the first pageant that comes to mind is Miss Universe. Everyone knows Miss Universe. But there's also a lot of male pageantries out there. The one that I joined was Mr. Pilipinas Worldwide.
Okay.
Shout out to them. They're in Manila right now.
Okay.
Ooh.
Under the same management as Miss Universe, actually.
Okay.
So I got to work with a good team, good management, and yeah, we have a lot of like opportunities. I got to participate in a pageant in Thailand. Who would have thought?
Wow.
Okay.
In Thailand, representing the Philippines, and it was a great experience and all. But yeah, there is definitely a landscape in male pageantry as there is to female pageantry. But I guess female pageantry is more famous.
So
Yeah.
what exactly is pageantry? What does that mean exactly? And then I think Justin mentioned to me off the air earlier that you need to go to school for that, or you need to learn pageantry. It's not looking
like that?
Looking good is not enough. What are you talking about? I'm good.
I think for me, the thing that stands out is you're definitely gonna represent the place.
Okay.
Whether it's like your barangay, your province type of thing,
Or your country.
or your country.
Okay.
And then you have advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, and I'm still kind of vocal about it with my
Okay.
advocacy about like accessibility for PWDs.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Very
would-
much in line with your course right now
yeah,
too.
yeah, that's
NPT.
why I chose it. And yeah, I think that's the difference. Like with pageantry, you're not just a public figure, but you're a public figure with advocacy. You're also you're also representing your place or your country type of thing.
Okay. I think
So-
that's one thing that people often overlook when it comes to pageantry, Jiggy. The fact that there are these ideas and core beliefs that you hold behind all the aesthetics, all the looks, all the runways. Okay? Sometimes when we think of pageantry, the most exciting part for us is katong magrampa na sila, the coronation night and all of that, the glitz and the glamour.
Yeah.
But then there's something more important to that, and that's the advocacy behind it. And yours was on accessibility for PWD.
Exactly.
You know, people are saying that that it's quite superficial, right?
Yeah,
judging a person based on their beauty is shallow, is superficial, right? But like I always love to say, looking good is half the job, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it opens doors for people, right? If somebody's selling you, I don't know, a vacuum cleaner, and the person looks good, right?
You're more likely.
Yeah, you're more likely to open the door at a minimum, right? Of course, he's got to have the skills to sell the damn vacuum cleaner, but at least you went skills in the door, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what are your thoughts on that, on how people perceive beauty contests and pageants and all that stuff?
Well, I think they just need to look at it from a deeper perspective. That
Okay.
Lots of these people have advocacies that they're very vocal about.
Okay.
I have a friend who's joining a pageant in Bohol, and she talked about being a working student, and she's very vocal about it. She's been working since 12, 14.
Wow.
Yeah, she's been supporting herself her whole life, and
That's a personal experience.
that's a very personal experience, more personal than mine. And people can't just like label pageantry to be superficial when they just only had one experience about it. There's
Okay.
actual people out there who have deeper experiences and advocacies.
Okay, but I'm also curious for those people who have, like, if you're someone who's so passionate about a certain advocacy, there's so many avenues for you to share that, and a lot of people would would even say that there are a lot more avenues that could be more like effective in such a way. If you're really into like a certain idea, you want to help out, like in your field, perhaps pursue PT, like what you're doing, right? Work at a hospital, work with the social workers, with the government, and all that. What is the importance of, bringing pageantry into that and fusing it with advocacy? So I think my question is, kung ganahan naman gid ka if you really just want to push your advocacy, there's so many other ways you can do that. But what's the beauty of
the beauty is the beauty.
The beauty is
the beauty. I told you about the vacuum cleaner analogy, right?
Okay.
Being good looking opens doors. So whatever advocacy that he wants, I'm sorry I'm speaking for you, but it's so tempting. So if you look good, then they'll let you in quicker, faster. So the advocacy becomes you can achieve your advocacy if you put your heart and mind into it faster and quicker compared to somebody who's not as good looking, for example.
And do you also think that maybe that industry has a sense of influence? People look up to you, right? Like,
Exactly.
how has that been for you?
Yeah,
Being like an influencer of some sort.
Yeah, to some degree, like when you're in pageantry, you get an understanding that you have a platform, you have a voice, you have an influence where if you post this, if you say this, people are paying attention. I remember before when I came back from my pageant, a lot of people in Cebu were like saying congratulations and all that, and I was like, I'm not really friends with you. I forgot your name, but then thank you. Like I appreciate it, but then like it kind of gave me an understanding of like, oh, I have this much influence, I have this much like following, and I should be careful, and I should also be wise with what I post, what I do, type of thing. So yeah,
what you say and all that.
exactly.
So for background, I've actually known Tanting for a couple of years now, or Tants, from high school. So you actually are also a graduate of Sacred Heart School Ateneo de Cebu.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out to to all the Ateneans who might be listening. And you are in fact a Magis Eagle. So if you're wondering, Jiggy, well, he's so tall. He also used to play for a basketball team.
Okay.
So I feel like for the longest time I've known you as a basketball player.
Yeah.
And then I remember pag pandemic, I just suddenly saw that you were entering these pageants. You moved to Manila, right?
Yeah.
To pursue modeling there. So how did you make that jump? Was there someone in Ateneo that told you, or like sa inyong basketball team, you know what? Maybe you should take the shift from sports to modeling and pageantry. How did you get into that?
Actually, before I've been invited, or like I was already inquired to do like modeling, but I never really got to do it. And then I got invited to do a pageant, and I was like, you know what? I think I can manage this since it's online class. So I got to do that.
Online, right?
then
Yeah.
with the whole pageantry and all that. And then turns out that I actually had a fighting chance against all these handsome, tall men with big muscles and all. And I was like, this tall but like scrawny kid and all. And then later
How old
down
were you at this time? Like,
I was like 21, 22,
Okay.
yeah. And then the doors opened later for me where I got to work with Mercator. I got to meet Mama Mao, the manager, and he said, we think that you're a fit for modeling. We want you to do that. And then, yeah, I got to do some runways. I got to do some shoots there in Manila. And yeah, that's my story.
Cool. What are one of the brands that you've done photo shoots for?
I think the one that stands out the most is like Emma Sleep, Forever 21.
Oh, cool.
There's also another one, Lux Organics, yeah, for skincare.
Skincare and fashion as well. No?
Yeah, like Emma Sleep was the foam thing?
Yeah.
The one where you jump on it and there's
like a memory phone?
Yeah,
memory
like
foam?
if you jump on it, there's like a wine glass on it and
it won't spill.
It won't spill. It really doesn't spill.
That's cool. You tested it out.
Yeah, I really tested it out. They told me to try it. It actually works. So, yeah.
Do you get I'm also curious, Jiggy, about like for models who do those, do you get freebies?
Sometimes we do.
So you didn't get a memory foam?
In Emma Sleep, I was like, you know what?
Give me
it's a really nice pillow.
Give me a
so
pillow.
Comfortable. I wonder what it's like to have one. And they were like, oh, we're sorry. We can't give you one. I was like,
that's too bad.
Yeah.
So wala lang. Okay, so you did those, and then I also saw that you did the fashion show here in Tops.
Amato.
Yes.
Amato.
For Fern Amato, I would say the best designer in Cebu. He has a reputation to speak for himself. I think he'll have another one this upcoming summer. He had a casting last Saturday, so I'm pretty sure there'll be another one soon.
What was it like, diri sa Tops? You were telling me on the way up here it's a surreal experience because of the view in itself. Grabe kayong, it's a unique venue to have a fashion show. You said that most of the fashion shows, the big ones in Cebu, happen at the waterfront or other resorts or hotels, no?
Yeah.
So what was it like to be able to walk for Amato?
Just like Fern Amato, the next show is always going to be better than the last, and it was better because we were also directed by someone from India. He was an international director. He's usually the one who does he directs the shows usually for Mommy Fern or Fern Amato in Dubai. So so we got to work under
international.
him.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, the pedigree or the type of theme it was very international, very fast. You got to walk just 90 seconds, I would say.
Oh.
And yeah, we were around like 60, 70 models, and the venue speaks for itself, really. To be in Tops doing a fashion show, it sounds crazy.
Yeah. There were a lot of male models for that show, or because I don't know, but I only saw a few. I only saw mostly I saw mga female models for that show.
Yeah, but that's usually the case with fashion. Like the fashion industry, there's only a few male models compared to female models, and I think we were around like 8 or 10, give or take. Yeah.
Why is that? Imagine you're in a fashion show of like 60 models, and we only have 8 or 10 male models. Is it like up to the preference of the designer, or is that just like a thing in the industry?
I think the preference definitely plays a factor, but then I'm pretty sure it's also like the standard, Mommy Fern, I'm pretty sure he won't pick anyone. He'll pick someone who's professional, who's good looking, who can wear the outfits, who can bring the outfits to life.
Okay.
That's one of the things that they taught me, is that you're not just paid to walk with the outfit, you're paid to show it, transform it, like emulate what this outfit is.
Yeah. That must be a lot of pressure, no? Because the designers mismo must have like an expectation as to how you're gonna bring their message forward.
I'm used to it, so it's fine.
I think because women, your outfits are more how do I say this? More diverse.
Okay.
Most of the outfits of men are like kind of we're kind of like, like for example, if you watch like red carpet shows, like all of them wearing like a suit and a tie, right? And that's it. So I think that's the reason why there are more female models, because they need to show more clothes, right? As far as male goes, unless of course you're very adventurous fashion, you're very fashion forward, then maybe there's a lot of distinction and diversity. But as far as most typical males, we don't usually wear like a lot of differences, right? Because we like I only have like a certain number of colors in my closet, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And all of that stuff.
That's one of the things I found fascinating in pageantry, was that we have our outfits for everyday type of thing, and I was shocked. Like, I thought there's only one type of suit. There's different kinds of suits, like white pants, like crop topped or whatever. And I was like, wow, there's like.
They plan out your outfits for every appearance or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, during the one in Thailand, like I had to wear a different outfit for every day.
Oh my.
Yeah, so yeah.
And as Jiggy mentioned, for the males, it's usually quite simple. Like you just choose a certain set.
Yeah.
You would think that, but then I was shocked.
But
There's
not the
so many
industry,
kinds
apparently.
of suits.
Absolutely. You know, I have a question that is important to me, and it's close to my heart. You know, I've had the same problem, and I want to know your opinion about this. You know, this problem, Justine, has been very difficult for me for a long time. But I want to get your opinion on this matter, John, or Mr. Tants. Does being good looking have its disadvantages for you?
So that's your problem, Jiggy. That's been your problem.
I've had that problem for decades, you know. But how about you? Is being good looking, has it become a disadvantage? Because I remember there was a quote from Rob Lowe not too long ago, maybe like 10 years ago. He said something like, being good looking actually was a disadvantage to him because he couldn't get the roles that he wanted and all that stuff because he was too good looking.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like there were no roles, nobody could look that good. You know what I mean? So that's Rob Lowe saying. So my question to you here, Mr. Tant, is has being good looking ever been a disadvantage to you?
Definitely. I actually talked about this with my friend. She said, like, I talked about this, and then I said something like, people think that just because you're good looking, that you're a player, or like, they judge you without having to actually talk to you, type of thing. Whereas I would say if you're not as good looking, people can actually get to know you. They're not as intimidated and all. And yeah, that's one of the things I had a hard time with school actually, where people at first they thought like, oh, this guy must be a player. He must be so mean.
So they judge you.
Yeah, and I was there like, why? Why is that? Because you're good looking. And I was like, well, I didn't even say anything yet. I haven't even said hi, hello, and this is the judgment I'm getting. Like, kind of unfair, but I guess that comes with being good looking to some degree. So yeah.
Yeah, I can relate to that problem too.
Of course.
Very much.
Yeah, I think I probably have an expectation of you guys, no? Basin so siya.
Okay.
You've had that experience, Jiggy.
Yeah, forever. Forever.
Until now.
Yeah. So there is a disadvantage to it.
Definitely. Yeah, especially
like how about for modeling, like
yeah, is there a disadvantage?
Is there like a disadvantage of I mean, like don't you want the outfit to be more accessible also, right? And if the model is good looking or too good looking for that matter,
feels so distant.
You become unachievable. The outfit becomes unachievable.
Exactly.
How does that work now for you?
I've actually been told that like, oh, we can't get you for this job or project as like you're good looking and all. You fit a very good profile, but can't get you because apparently I make the outfits look expensive.
Okay.
Because apparently I give off the chinito vibe. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that's the
That's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing. Like just because I'm chinito, tall, I have this clean aesthetic apparently.
Okay.
That I can't make the outfit look accessible.
Okay.
So it is a little bit of a disadvantage. Find it sayang eh.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently I think it comes with the way that you look and the way that you carry yourself also, that there's a specific brand that they see you for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That
And
would only fit you, so you can't do the other looks.
I was told, I remember in Manila where just because I remember I was told that because of the way I look, because of the way I carry myself and the way I speak, they thought I was rich, like a rich type of asshole type of guy. And I was like,
Okay.
excuse you, like,
Crazy rich Asian.
Crazy.
like come on, like
There's that judgment.
you didn't even get the chance to know me.
Yeah.
Kind of saya.
Yeah.
But I guess that comes with
Because
being good looking.
yeah, you have a kind of preconceived notion, like the dumb blonde, for example, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Of a dumb blonde.
Yeah, and they say the reason why good-looking women, in that case, this is not coming from me, okay? This is just their opinion. Because everything is given to you in school because you're so good-looking, and they carry the bags for you. If you're a woman, then they give you the answers. They make your assignments, all that stuff. So it becomes like a disadvantage because you become lazy because everybody does everything for you because you're good looking. I don't know if that's true for you, Justine.
Me? No.
Okay.
And I don't really, there's this This is term that a lot of my friends would say, kanang, it's a Gen Z term called pretty privilege.
Pretty privileged.
Yeah,
okay.
so like
what does that mean?
It means that society treats you differently based on how attractive you are.
Okay,
and
okay.
You get merits and you're kind of ahead in certain ways, and people, favor you because of the way that you look.
Okay.
And a lot of people think that it's unfair, but I would say that it's also subjective. Being pretty or being beautiful
Yeah,
or handsome or that
Yeah.
has a lot to do with how you carry yourself, and that's the effort that personality comes in.
Yeah.
Because I would say no matter how guapa ka, if your attitude stinks, everyone's gonna smell that.
Exactly.
So like,
Or unless you have a maldita outfit, right?
or a face.
You
just
know,
a face.
if your outfit is
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like a
It's
rich,
supposed to look like
a
that.
rich bitch look, right? For example, right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
What if that's what they're going for? Then you're
Yeah.
bagay siguro ka, di ba?
Yeah.
That depends if that's what you're trying to go for.
Yeah, if you're promoting that, but in
Yeah.
terms of like how people treat you around, pretty privilege it's quite superficial, but
Yeah.
people will always see the genuine you through experience. And
Exactly.
your physical looks, it's one part, but then later on your inner core values and all that, that's what will shine through.
Yeah.
So I think like, I don't know,
Well, maybe in pageants, but in
I mean in real life of pretty privilege, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Pero in the workplace, in pageantry, of course, that's something that you really need to take care of. Like I understand, like in modeling, that's your puhunan, that's your
Yeah.
lifestyle, no? So in TMC or 105.1 Tants, we're all about bringing local talent to the world.
Okay.
Oh.
Like we always think about like how Cebu has so much talent, and they're just looking for a platform for everything: music, modeling, art, sports, and all that. And so the usual route to success rather for Cebuanos is that they go through Manila, or they
Exactly.
go to get to the world.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Is that the case for male models in Cebu? Is it
Um,
always like
Yeah,
for you to make it big, kailangan
Lorraine is in Manila now,
Yeah.
right? For
Shout out.
for bench, right?
Yeah.
So I guess it's
For me, yeah, it's definitely the case where actually the first modeling job that I ever did, the first one was in Manila.
Mm.
And then it showed me the reality of like there's more opportunities there. All the brands are there. There are a lot more designers there. There's shows like every 2 weeks and like there was a time in 1 month I had like 3 shows per week. I think, I'm not sure, but 3 gigs per week. And there's some quiet months, but yeah, definitely. I don't know why it's that case where Manila has to be this place where if you want to be a big time model, you have to go through there. But
Yeah.
I wish it could be the same here in Cebu.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, that's where the projection's going towards, where a lot of Manila designers are actually coming to Cebu to do the shows here. Like I'm pretty sure having the Fern Amato show here in Tops sends a
opens
message.
doors.
It sends a message to the whole Philippines that Cebu is stepping up the game, and
Okay.
we're only gonna get better from here.
Yeah, and we always ask this question to the artists that we bring in. Like we ask them, do you think that that industry is evolving? So for modeling, for example, do you think it's evolving in Cebu? It's already bubbling. Like the scene is just about to, like it's about to be like
Explode.
explode. Do you think like there are gonna be more opportunities for
Okay.
male models here already, or we're still at the stage we're in? We'd still have to go through the Manila route. How close or how far do you think we are from reaching that?
from it becoming like not just a kind of a scene, a modeling scene, but a modeling industry. Is there such a thing as a modeling industry here in Cebu?
I think it's definitely growing, but one of the things that definitely needs to grow more is brands in Cebu definitely need to reach out more to local type of models, and they also need to be compensated well. There's a lot of brands here, but I think that they're not yet ready to reach the price that they would for like some models, because
Okay.
it's quite expensive and all. But yeah, some models, they should be compensated as such,
Okay.
especially if
So
like
that's
you
a
have
bigger
a talent.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a talent that's like a pageant king or a beauty queen, like a Miss U or whatnot, they definitely got to be compensated as much. But yeah, in Manila, they're not shy to pay.
I'm curious, Tans, because we have a new breed of person now although we didn't refer to them as such back then, but this person actually kind of exists already, like the influencer, right?
Yeah.
There's a phenomenon called the influencer. Although, like I said, this an influencer has existed long ago. It predates the internet, right?
Yeah.
But more so now. My question here is, how important is it for a model to be famous in your craft? Like, is there an advantage if you're not only just a model but also an influencer? Does it help you in your career, and does it help the clothes being being modeled? Does it become more popular because you're not just a good-looking person, you're also an influencer?
There's definitely been, it's been sort of the case where, especially if you have a little bit of a bigger following, that there's going to be more people watching every move that you make, or like if you have a big event, oh, I can see that he did this type of show. Who's the designer? Like they'll see that, oh, it's this designer. Okay, I'll check him out. Or like if it's this brand, they'll take more notice to it. Whereas but I've seen some models where, like in Manila especially, I've seen top models in Manila where they have no social media presence.
Okay.
As in zero.
Wow.
But they get booked every time.
Okay.
So I think it's a bit of 50-50. But for me, I think it's important to be a good influencer, have a good message, have a clean like image also, and just have fun with it. I think a lot of people are so worried about what other people think. Like, just have fun. Like, have fun, have a good message, be a good person, and just spread a good vibe. That's all.
That's nice. That's great advice for upcoming models, no? So, for a couple last questions, no? We understand that you'll also have mga upcoming shows. So, is there anything that you would like to promote? Is there any upcoming gig that you have wherein people can see you walk?
Honestly, right now, I think there's a gig that I have in May. I think.
Perfect.
I'm just not sure because I've just been drowning in school. We just came from midterms actually in Veles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to your schoolmates and classmates. I forgot to ask about that. No, PT, right? You're
Yeah.
taking a PT. And I understand that's something totally different from the from the
I don't know why.
from the modeling industry. Pero I don't know. Is it something to do with modeling and PT? Because si Lorraine she's also a licensed PT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there like a relation to that, or that's just out of your personal interest?
It's definitely out of my personal interest. I don't think there's a relation.
Physical.
Physical man.
Maybe to some degree.
Physical man. Physical
But,
therapy.
Speaking of physical, I've always wanted to ask this question. I know this is from out of nowhere, but you mentioned good looking and all that stuff. I'm curious, like, what does that mean? What does good looking mean? What do you mean by good looking? What
How do you define
How do you define
someone who's good looking?
that someone is good looking? What does that even mean?
That's a tough question.
I know, right?
Jiggy always asks the very substantial
what does that
questions.
even
I like
mean?
it.
What does that even mean?
I think for me, it's definitely someone who's visually appealing.
Okay.
Okay.
They look visually appealing. You
Okay.
know, like they fit the aesthetic. Like if someone who when you look at them, it's like love at first sight type of
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Because I think that's for a lot of good-looking people,
Mhm.
you can catch them like lots of people stare.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not to brag,
Mhm.
but I have gotten the type of thing where if I pass someone, and like a stranger, they just tend to look at me for a little longer than
Yeah.
usual. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
same problem too, man.
but yeah, I guess good looking they're visually appealing. I think
Okay, that's what good looking means.
I mean, like in the K-pop industry,
yeah.
sideways. Yeah, there's a lot of visually appealing people there. They're so.
But
stunning.
Who decides that?
who decides what is visually appealing?
I think it's just the people, what they're interested in. Like I've met people that they like chinito looking, they
Yeah.
like moreno looking, they like mestizo looking. It just
Yeah.
depends on their
And
taste.
and is the concept of what beautiful is always evolving? Because I know for a fact there was a time this was the good looking person and that was and then all of a sudden like it changed like a
Yeah.
few years after. Gahuwat pa ko nga mauso po da kang kagwapo.
Abi ko nauso na to, Jiggy.
This was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it's bound to come back.
So na wag tang
Yeah.
nang usong dili na sa kagwapo karon pero so seriously, like is the idea of what is good looking, what is beautiful also ever evolving, ever changing, and and mura og usahay na uso nga look.
Yeah.
Can you expound?
Yeah, definitely. Like K-pop, let's say for example, it boomed like 2014, 2015, and that was because of social media. Social media definitely plays a part, and I think it depends on the influence, like what's trending now. Like K-pop was trending before, but then let's say like your favorite Netflix show, like this actor who looks like who has this sort of ethnicity. Or like
so it becomes like a thing.
Yeah, like maybe a hairstyle. Yeah. Or maybe the way they dress, and then that becomes the good looking, and people follow it.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
So it's ever evolving. It's not like a steady state, right? It's like always like
exactly. And then like even like let's say clothes from the 80s, 90s, it actually made a comeback recently, where people like to dress that way. Yeah. Because back then there was like street type of style, and there was also like a clean aesthetic type of style, like the way you dress. I really like it. Very formal.
Okay. Yeah. So kanang good looking is also kind of it's also kind of trending, right?
Yeah.
It's like a trend. Na also nga, di ba? Kinumdum ko like there was a time nga Campbell, what's her name? Naomi Campbell, right? And there were like a lot of tall African American models. That murag uniuso na siya ba, di ba? There was a time nga uso sa karon mga panahon na Tans. Unsa may uso? What's trending now?
What's the good looking
what's good looking now for women and for men as well?
Yeah.
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
I
maybe for ano na lang, in your own experience in the male industry.
But I can imagine kanang K-pop because you do look K-poppy, right? K-poppy, right? Am I right? Am I right? No.
Yeah, actually, there's a funny story that I have to tell. Like when I rode a Move It recently in the motorcycle.
Okay.
And I didn't talk, and then the driver was very quiet.
Okay.
And then like we almost got hit, and I cursed in Bisaya.
Okay.
And then the driver asked me, "Bisaya de ka kuya?" I was like, "Oh, Bisaya ko. Binako Koreano." Sorry kuya.
Oh yeah, actually you do look Korean.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I've been told a lot that I look Korean or Japanese type of thing. But yeah, going back to the question, in my opinion, in the Philippines, from what I could tell,
from the male industry,
it's definitely an Asian look.
Also sa Pilipinas.
So your look fits right in, would you say? Like
yeah, great. Thankfully it does. Thank you, Lord, that it does. Because without it, I don't think I'd be modeling as much. But yeah.
So how about in a global perspective? Unsa may also karon? Is it also Asian?
I don't think it's just Asian, because I've seen some very handsome European men, very handsome Americans.
Okay.
Like even Filipinos. There's like especially Filipinos. I would say that Philippines has so much diverse looks.
Yeah.
We have like Chinese looking, we have pure Filipino, we have Spanish looking. It's very different nowadays.
Melting pot.
Yeah, honestly, like in the Philippines, you have a variety of different looks that if you want to date someone here, like you can choose from so many different looks. Let's be honest.
So right? the jiggy look as well.
Yeah.
No?
Gahuwat lagi ko nga mausul nga magwapo kog balik. Gimingon ako, Justin.
The time will come, Jiggy. Don't worry.
There was a time. We have
Where's the music? We need the right music for that.
There was a time. nga gwapo ko. Karon dili na ko gwapo. Aba matinda. Kanang mga batig naong diha ay kabalaka. Mousor na inyong naong.
No, but as Tans said, no, beauty is ever evolving. The idea that it will evolve. So we never know. In the next fashion shows, Jiggy, they might be looking for for that particular aesthetic, that look.
And I also think that it's not just about being good looking, but it's about having confidence.
Yeah.
It's such a undersaid type of thing.
Yeah.
Understated type of thing where if you can carry yourself, even if you're not as good looking, then you're unstoppable. Because I've definitely seen and been in the shoes of someone who's like, they're very handsome, very like great body, 6 foot tall. You have everything. But then they're not as confident. They're quite timid.
They're shy.
Yeah, you ask them about their experience.
Exactly. Magic. We're describing you, actually. We're describing you.
Yeah. And there's some people that they just don't carry themselves with the same amount of confidence. Whereas the other type, the other end, they carry themselves with such great confidence.
Yeah.
It's so attractive, so palpable, right?
Yeah, I think that would bring me to like my last question. No? What is the trait that every male model should have aside from confidence? So you mentioned the physical looks, you mentioned having a great body and being able to walk and all that, skills of course.
Yeah.
But if you could choose like one, like the most important skill or attribute,
if there was one thing
that a male model should have in this day and age, what would that be?
I think for
And
me,
why?
because I've been told that I do this really well, is that you need to be versatile. Because
Okay.
I've been told that I can pull off the masculine look, but I can also pull off the feminine look. And I notice with a lot of models in Manila, if you can pull that off, it really puts you with a lot of opportunities for a lot of different jobs.
Okay.
Yeah, imagine like you're a guy, pero you can look like kind of like feminine, very soft, or
For brands like skincare.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Because they at first they
And-
really
And I think that's the Korean aesthetic
Yeah,
also, right?
that too.
Because they look very feminine, right?
Yeah.
I meant that in a good way.
yeah, they can pull off
Yeah.
different looks.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you can do that, then oof, it opens up a lot of doors for you.
Okay, so being versatile. Is that something that you can actually do, or is that attributed to how you look?
Just your facial
Okay, what
features.
if like my facial features are not versatile? So like, how can I be versatile?
Why-
Is it a matter of acting?
I think it is, right?
manner of
It's
acting?
probably the lines in your face and whatnot, right?
It's the expression, like
Okay.
how you express yourself, how you project to the camera, the angle at which you, yeah. Because let's say, quick like modeling thing, like if you were to protrude your jaw going up, right?
Okay.
It gives you a more of a dominant look. But if it goes down, it's more so the eyes that are speaking to the camera,
Okay.
and it gives a very softer look.
So
So
there's
little
really a
things like
science
that.
behind that,
Yeah,
Jiggy.
man.
No, we learn
know, right?
something new every day.
Model na siguro Justin, eh?
No,
Huh?
Jiggy, for our photos,
Yeah.
so if pag-interview ta, then we should be careful as to
Yeah.
how we, if we wanna assert.
Problema kay kuning kuan akong angle kay wadyo kay angle ang
Wala
nindot
angle,
ang nindot
wala
nga angle
angle.
nako talikod ra gyud. So sa kapuya lagi so
Oh, my.
again kato mga di kay gwapo muusor na inyong naong pohon-pohon,
Don't
right?
worry about it.
Maabot ra na
Learn your angles.
muusor na inyong naong yes go ahead.
I dare say the best angle is a warm, big smile.
Warm
Oh,
big smile.
that's nice.
A warm
That's the
and
best
big
thing you can show.
Exactly.
a warm big smile. Okay. You know what? We have
Jiggy doesn't seem to believe it.
we have so many things to talk about here, but Kuya Magic is already kicking us out.
Right.
If they want to know more about John Tanting,
Yeah.
where should they go? What should they visit? Facebook page, Instagram, X, Threads, TikTok. Go ahead.
I'm on IG. I'm Tants with 5 S's. I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure. On TikTok, I'm at Tants on IG. You can just follow me there. And yeah, just those two. I just have fun with my Instagram and TikTok. And
Okay.
yeah. To all the fans out there, if there's if to anyone listening, the last piece of advice that I always say is carpe diem, seize the day. Good day, bad day. Always try to make the most out of it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. Thank you so much, ladies and
for joining
gentlemen.
us.
John Tanting, thank you so much for being here and telling us, giving us a sneak peek, a peek at the world of male modeling.
Yeah.
You know, I know kaning being good looking is
One thing.
very relatable to me,
Oh yeah.
but being a model is not, right? So
Not yet. Not yet.
not yet. Yeah,
We
basig
got tips today, Jiggy. We got advice. We know what to do.
basig mo uso ng mubo, di ba? Di ba? Basig mo uso ng mubo.
nako.
Wata ka ba? Panahon na, di ba? Di ba?
Yeah.
Ang short is the new tall.
Yeah.
Short king.
It's always going to be
The short-
fashion. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us again, guys.
Short is the new tall. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Here
thank
at
you
Top
so.
of the morning. We'll be back tomorrow. So this has been Justine Narvias and
You should do a show here, John. You know,
Yeah.
You should do a show here.
I'd
You
love
know,
to come back.
Let's do like a regular thing here. Talk about stuff.
Let's make something happen.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
come back.
Kuya Magic here is an example of a model who does not have confidence. So you need to teach him confidence. Hello.
he said hello.
Hello. He's coming up next with the show. Stay tuned. Thank you so much, Tants.
Thank you.
Justine.
Yeah.
The Magic Hour is coming up next
Yeah.
with a Kuya Magic on 105.1 TMC.
The best of us.
Oh yeah.
Bye, guys.
Mwah.